Well, some of this may sound so far out, but I get them every single day, and it's not just seniors too. I had a 40-year-old woman that she got a call from the circuit clerk of the court saying you've missed your two jury duty dates, and we those are fined by $2,500 a piece. We need you to pay that now, otherwise we'll have the sheriff at your door within the hour.
Hey guys, this is Matt Helton with OneTrust Home Loans, your local reverse mortgage experts, and you found the Serving Senior podcast. This is the podcast we highlight those businesses and those individuals that help seniors not just get by, not just survive, but thrive in retirement. And today we have another one of those awesome guests. We have Mr. Jim Hughes. Now, Jim is the founder of Business Risk Solutions, and he's going to share with us today why he started working with seniors, why he's passionate about working with seniors, and how he helps seniors have better retirements. Jim, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. Thanks for having me, Matt. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being here. I've enjoyed getting to know you and really respect your heart for serving. So thank you for taking some time out of your busy day.
Well, it's interesting. My mission is to get to as many seniors as I possibly can and deliver the message. And hopefully I can get to thousands of them before I die myself.
There you go.
And deliver that message. So I'm as excited as you are about your business, and we're both focused on a very noble purpose.
Yes, sir. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate you saying that. Well, now, Jim, I know some people listen to this will maybe know you and know your backstory, but not everybody does. So maybe could you take us, how you got to serving seniors? What have you done in the past? Where you're from? Maybe share with us some background if you could.
Well, I've had 5 businesses that I built and sold. They were all in the area of risk management. That's managing the risk to individuals and businesses. Mm-hmm. And so after I sold my 5th business, which was 19 years ago, I started a new business because I'm one of those guys that likes to keep moving and learning.
Right. Got it.
And so I looked around at that time and said, boy, I want to do something that is very myopic, very needed, very specialized. And I started seeing through my risk management channels the identity theft victim surfacing. And it was starting to come up in the media, starting to come up in the journals, the risk management journals that I had. So I said, I'm going to specialize in that. Once I sold my 5th business, I had a non-compete, so I had to make sure I stayed clear of what I had done in the past.
Got it.
And just decided to form Business Risk Solutions with the intent of specializing in identity theft. Well, little did I know that I made a decision that was actually going to grow from that point, meaning the exposure, the risk to the community and to business in particular has been a dramatic threat, if you will. So that's what drove me. And I started seeing more and more. The more I dove into it, the more I started specializing, getting certificates, educating, getting designations. I started seeing more clearly what is going on in the marketplace, and that's what drove me. Mm-hmm. And as you can tell, obviously I'm a senior, so I started catching little glimpse through the media, through my journals, etc., of what's happening to seniors.
Okay.
And the reasons why seniors are exposed so much to identity theft is that they weren't raised with a cell phone or an iPad or a laptop. They're very trusting because you didn't have to worry about locking your front door, or when you pick up the phone, what do you say? And as a result of that, they have become a very, very big target for identity theft. And so the field of identity theft, if you will, or that category of fraud, as the last 5 years has hit $37 billion in losses. So the problem is it pays big money to the thieves.
Sure. Oh my gosh.
So so I've been trying to get the message out to as many seniors as possible because I'm a senior myself, and you work hard all your life and save money, and certainly you don't want to give it away to some thief, even if you can afford it. And some people can, but there's no sense in throwing money away. It's terrible. So that's what drove me to creating a curriculum, if you will, to do identity theft awareness workshops for senior living facilities and associations and boards of directors, et cetera. Every place I can get to a senior, I want to get to because there's a strong message that I need to deliver. And so that's the story. That's how it got me to seniors.
That's awesome. That's a great story. Jim, maybe could you share a couple examples of maybe some seniors that you've seen things go wrong with in their situation, and you use this as a platform to share, hey, what they could have done differently or done better, or maybe just even a situation of how you educate seniors would be great.
Well, I think for time here, there's a number of areas that I teach. I had a identity theft awareness workshop this morning in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and I had a bunch of seniors there that I got to speak to and educate. But I think based on your question, Matt, the strongest message that I can deliver in this little short period of time is the subject of social engineering.
Okay.
And social engineering, I had one guy in the back of the room, and I said, do you all understand what social engineering is? And he looked up at me and he said, well, that's an engineer that's social.
The one engineer that likes to talk, huh?
Yeah, right. I said, no, not quite. Social engineering is becoming a skill that is very refined, and it is very effective. And that is when someone over the phone, over your iPad, over your email, over your laptop, contacts you and starts gaining just little tidbits of information about you in the course of a conversation with a sequence in it that pulls you closer and closer to them, pulls you more and more information out of you. And I just get example after example every time I speak, every place I go and speak. There I get an example of multiple examples of social engineering. So I'll give you an example. I went to Summerbees, which is a senior living facility in Franklin, Tennessee, and gave a talk there, a workshop there. And some guy looks like he was 80, 85 years old, came up to me as I was setting up and said, I just got scammed out of $9,500. I thought it was my grandson. This is a typical social engineering effect where today with AI, artificial intelligence, I can, if your grandson is on the internet, which of course they are, on his cell phone, which of course they are, texting messages, of course they are, with AI, I can replicate your grandson. And it sounds just like him. It has the same mannerisms, behavior in the conversation, because AI will pick all of that, put it together, and make a person. And then they call. And this guy, he told me I was scammed out of $9,500, and then he hit me again. He said, that's the second time. And I thought, holy smokes, do these people need help with social engineering? Now, it didn't financially break that guy, but $18,000-$19,000 is a lot of money to waste. And so another example that I had in Carthage at a senior living facility was a gentleman and his wife were in the audience. There was about 35 of them in the audience, and he came up to me afterwards as I'm packing up my gear and getting ready to leave after giving the presentation. And he looked at me and he sort of covered his mouth like this so the other people couldn't hear. He said, we were scammed out of $109,000. We thought it was our church.
Oh my gosh.
If you can believe that. The thieves have no moral spines at all. And they will do whatever it takes in order to gain the money from you. And there are gangs, if you will, of identity theft thieves what we call threat actors all over the world that can get to your laptop, my laptop, vis-a-vis the internet. And when that happens, and you are giving the information out that you shouldn't be giving out, it is a disaster. So those are two examples to answer your question.
Unbelievable. So that leads itself to the next topic is, so how, as a senior or just anyone listening to this podcast, how do we keep ourselves from being a statistic?
Well, some of this may sound so far out, but I get them every single day, and it's not just seniors too. I had a 40-year-old woman that she got a call from the circuit clerk of the court saying, you've missed your 2 jury duty dates, and those are fined by $2,500 a piece. We need you to pay that now, otherwise we'll have the sheriff at your door within the hour. And believe this or not, she got in the car, drove to her bank while the person's on the phone with them, transferred $5,000 from her account to the accounts that this person gave over the phone. And once received, the person on the phone, the threat actor, said, oh, we found one more. That was really late. It's a $10,000 fine. And she was standing there in front of the banker, and the banker said, hang up the phone. That's a scam. And it was. So to answer your question directly is, what we all need to understand is that every single day we're getting emails and phone calls. I got one myself just an hour ago, an email saying that that I had renewed a subscription to an IT service. Well, I'm in IT security, so I don't need IT service, right?
So, Jim, what you're saying is I did not actually win that vacation to Tahiti that's in my email box. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and people have a tendency, especially on that example, Matt, they have a tendency to want it to be true.
Sure.
I had a guy call me on a Sunday afternoon. His wife made him call me and said, I just won the $1 million maximum blah, blah, blah thing. And they also said, we're going to send you a brand new Mercedes. We just need a little information from you so that we can make sure it's you. He wanted that.
Sure.
To the point where he wanted me to confirm that so that he could accept that gift, quote unquote. Well, it's a scam, and he's lucky his wife was smart enough to have him call.
Wow.
So that kind of thing, social engineering, is the one topic I'd love to convey because it's so doggone strong.
Okay.
Another thing to be careful with is half the calls coming into our call centers in Chicago and in California, half the calls coming in on our 24/7 hotlines are where people receive a text message. This is not email, just a text message, and they click on a link. And that downloads malware onto their cell phone.
Okay.
And when they bank online with a banking app off their cell phone, it follows them right into their bank accounts, and they sweep them all.
Wow.
So if I can say, don't bank online with an app, and don't click on any link that it comes from a text, because they can make it look just like your bank, just like American Express, just like any of the other merchant companies. Wow. So hopefully that is an answer to your question.
Yeah. And you've always heard that the iPhone cannot be hacked, but I guess if you click a link and takes you to a website, you're basically just opening the door for the bad guys, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And I using your word, open the door, I'd like to just use that word for a minute.
Sure.
The front door of all of us and our personal information is a password. And a strong password is extremely important.
Okay.
And most people look at me and yawn when I say that until I explain to them how that works. If you've got a password with 10 digits in it, 10 numbers in it, you can scramble them any way you want. I've got a computer program that'll break that password in 5 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
If you have a password with letters and numbers, and there's 8 of them, 8 letters and numbers, scramble them any way you want, that same computer program will break that password in 34 days. If you have a password with 16 characters,
Okay.
numbers, letters, uppercase, lowercase, symbols, numbers, symbols, uppercase, lowercase, and no words, 16 characters or more. That same computer program that I have, it takes it 152,000 years to break that code numerically. So that tells you, and I always ask my audiences, and again, how many characters in your password?
Yeah.
And no words, no words. And so that is a reason why passwords are so doggone important. Hopefully that helps your audience.
Yeah. Is on that note, is the LastPass type features, are those positive to keep?
LastPass is a password manager.
Mm-hmm.
And just for your information, LastPass had a data breach.
Okay, got it.
So I say to everyone, I use this technique. Write all of your your login and passwords down. You can put them in a Word document.
Okay.
Don't save it on that computer. Print it, and then delete the file.
Wow.
So all you have is a paper track of your logins and passwords.
Right.
Keep that in your money bag or where your checkbooks are, or whatever the case may be. That way, no one can get, there's air between the thieves and you that they can't get to.
Makes sense.
But
Yeah.
don't save any passwords or logins on a website, and don't print them and put them into your phone, iPad, or laptop, because once the thieves are in there, they've got all of your information.
Okay. So that's a really good example of showing how, at least in your opinion, we're, I'm sure, 10 to hundreds of times more likely to have someone break into our computer than to kick down our door, walk through our house, physically break into the house and find a piece of paper, I'm assuming. Is that accurate?
Yeah, and yeah, your example is a great one, Matt, because one would think that that is an alternative, but the thieves don't have to carry a gun.
Right.
Thieves don't have to worry about finding where your house is and breaking in. Your thieves don't have to stay up late at night and break in at 2:00 in the morning. They can do all of that at their own time frame. You know, picture this: there are office buildings around the world where a guy walks in the morning, takes his kids to the daycare center, goes to the cafeteria and eats breakfast, and then goes to his cubby hole and steals money all day long. Gets finished at 5:00 and goes and picks up his kids and then goes home.
Wow.
And they start, a good one starts at $100,000 a year in income because they can steal more than 100,000.
Right. Holy cow.
So
wow.
it's interesting.
Crazy stuff. Well, Jim, thank you for making us all feel really excited about getting on our computers and phones, right?
Yeah, right.
But the good news is there's people like you out there spreading the great word, to combat all this negative. So thank you for doing what you do. And I wanted to, maybe if you could share with us, Jim, like two things, maybe what gets you out of the bed in the morning, why did you even want to deal with all this negativity, right, that you're trying to fix? And then what are your superpowers and qualities that are giving you this energy to actually go at this full force and want to help seniors in this crazy world?
I think that's a really good question, Matt. Thank you for asking it that way, because it encourages you to think about your answer and make sure it's right. I have gone from a passion, a mission, to a noble purpose, and my noble purpose really drives me hard. It gets me up. It keeps me awake at night sometimes. It gives me really concrete words to use and mental mindsets to get into people's minds and explain what they don't know. I like helping people do what they can't do themselves.
Makes sense.
That really drives me. I'm excited about that because the threat is there ever increasing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going away. As long as we have phones, iPads, and laptops, we are going to have cyber attacks, if you will. All you have to do is look in the news, you see that.
Sure.
But I say that because that's my noble purpose. But I want to say to you, Matt, that in your line of work, there are so many people. I read an article that from age 55 to 65, the average man has less than $25,000 in his pension plan. That is horrible. And the work that you do to help those people have a lifestyle of dignity is extremely important. You have as strong a message to convey to your clients as I do to the people that I'm trying to make a good impression on and help them. And that's what you're trying to do. So I thank you for persevering and learning what is necessary so that you really know your product well and how to use that effectively. Because us seniors are living a lot longer.
Yeah.
And most of them haven't planned financially well enough to live as long, have as much money as they need until they're gone.
Yeah.
So I thank you for that. As a senior, I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to a guy a couple of days ago, and he said, we just didn't do as well on our investments as we should have, and our budget's really tight. And I said, sir, I'm going to respectfully decline that and say that maybe you did better than you thought. He goes, what do you mean? I'm only making a few thousand in Social Security. We got a few thousand in the bank. And I said, well, you probably struck out on a few investments like we all have. You did pay $85,000 for a home 12 years ago. It's now worth $300,000, sir. I said, that's pretty doggone good ROI. I said, the challenge is you haven't met the right person to be able to educate you on how you can use some of that fantastic equity that's shown up out of thin air to have a better retirement. He goes, well, how does it work? So I went through, unfortunately, he's having some medical situation. He may not live super long. And then he said, I'm in. So what do you mean? He said, I'm in, after I explained to him. I said, okay, why? And he said, he said he looked over, it was on the phone. He said, that lady over there sitting on the couch doesn't need to sit here and watch me die. He said, she needs to be out checking things off her bucket list, enjoying the last couple of years we have together. Unfortunately, I don't have the cash flow to do that, but it sounds like you may have just shared with me how we can do that. I was like, yes, here we are. Let's do it. That's
a noble purpose, Matt.
Yes, sir. So those are the type of problems that we try to solve. Sometimes it's how do we get them out of the house on vacation? Sometimes it's just that another lady was literally, she's behind on her taxes, behind on her HOA dues. She's sitting on a $350,000 home paid off and having to skimp by. And she just hasn't ever been able to figure out how do she take advantage of this. She only paid $180,000 for the house. It's doubled. It's worth $350,000. So she made a fantastic investment, but no one's taught her that it was an investment. They've just taught her it's a place she sleeps, if that makes sense. So,
yeah, and that asset or that investment's not doing anything for her right now and paid off. All it's doing, it's costing her money.
Exactly, sir. So, yeah, thank you for noticing. That's fantastic. Well, Jim, maybe could you share with the audience? You guys are a great resource for seniors, but maybe some other resources that you might recommend seniors check out, whether it's about identity theft, maybe it's just about longevity and having a good retirement. I know you're really good at the mental side of life as well. I'd love to hear some of your resources.
Well, my website is a resource to help them. I've got testimonials on their website from other seniors, and that is at www.businessrisksolutions.net.
Got it.
And I also encourage every person who does not have a monitoring service. It's so inexpensive to have a plan that they can monitor all of their personal identifiable information, which is name, address, and email address, and phone numbers, etc., and can trigger anyone using that information. No one can prevent identity theft. You can only react to it.
Got it.
The faster you react, the lower the chance of any financial disaster, meaning we can stop it in its tracks. So if you, and today, just, a single person is like $10.75 a month. A family is $18.95 a month, and it covers monitoring all of your family as well as your computers, and gives you an antivirus and a firewall and a VPN, which is a virtual private network to scramble your emails coming going from your computer. And it's like homeowners insurance or auto insurance. It's such a necessity, because otherwise you don't know it until it hits you. When it hits you, it's too late. And it's hard to get all the cattle back into the corral once the gate is open, if you follow me.
Yeah.
So I would encourage a service. I use, for my clients, I use Allstate Identity Protection. It's the least expensive, most comprehensive, a multi-billion-dollar company behind it. And I've just found it to be the best for a small business and or families.
Okay.
So that's what I would encourage people to do. Plus, use some of the tools that I've talked about here to offset the risk of becoming a victim.
Yeah.
So I can be reached as the email address that I gave to you. And my phone number here in Cane Ridge, Tennessee is 847-710-1030.
Fantastic.
That's 847-710-1030. I'll be happy to answer any questions or help anyone who needs help.
Jim, maybe you could share where maybe you talked about speaking. So, where your service areas would be if someone's listening to this, where would be the areas that you could travel to speak? And then what are some of the topics that you share when you meet with a live audience?
Well, I don't want to confine myself, but realistically, Middle Tennessee is there's 370 senior living facilities in Tennessee.
Okay.
But I've also been introduced to several other companies that have 500 and 600 locations all over the country.
Got it.
So I'll go wherever I'm asked to go. Because the senior is the same whether they're in Las Vegas or they're in Nashville, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
And they need that help. So I will go anywhere. I've spoken in Chicago several times, and I'm been asked to go into Alabama. There's several locations in Florida that we're talking to. So it's I'll go wherever I can get to them. I'm not going to kill myself to try to get to everybody, but I want to try to do as much as I can. And I charge a fee and expenses if it's out of the area. It works really well. What other part of that question did I forget?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. And I think,
did I cover it?
Yes, sir, Jim. And I'm thinking through, why would somebody reach out to Jim Hughes in Middle Tennessee if they're in Chicago or Florida or those type of things? And my opinion is it would be very hard for them to find a combination of skill, experience, but that's part of it. But when you match that with the passion, enthusiasm, and actually really being in tune with the mission, when you match the intelligence, experience with the passion, you're the guy to serve the seniors.
Well, I appreciate those kind words. I probably couldn't have said it better myself. So thank you for the good words, Matt. But
you're so welcome.
I don't run into any competition. I know there are other people out there speaking that are taking the message out to the masses, if you will. And they speak on a larger scale to large audiences. I speak to 30 or 50 or 100 people at a time. The largest audience I had was in Las Vegas at the MGM, which I had 800 people in the audience.
Nice.
But my regular routine is with from 30 to 70 seniors in the audience, and I like that because then I can interact with them and I can feel the energy, and I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So that's my sweet spot, so to speak. And
Makes
I'm doing this because I want to make an impact and help seniors where they can't help themselves.
sense. Well, very noble cause, and excited to be on the journey with you, sir.
Thank you so much, Matt, for the opportunity to speak with you. I've really enjoyed this. And I look forward to sometime in the future doing it again.
Yes, sir. No, thank you. Well, Jim, before we sign off, anything that I didn't ask you that I should have asked you that you'd like to throw in there and cover?
Well, you did a really good job, quite frankly. I think the thing that I'd like to leave people with is I don't want you to be paranoid. I want you to be careful.
That's awesome.
And when you are operating your phones, iPads, and laptops, slow down and make doggone sure that it's not a fake, that there's not a funny name or scrambling of letters and symbols in the browser from an email. And don't click on any links on your cell phone that come in via text, because they're getting really, really good at disguising them. And if you're banking online, please be very careful, because this is a disaster for some people when they swipe all of your accounts, sweep them, if you will. So if you're going to do banking online, just do it via your laptop, not through a text message or through the app on your phone.
Okay.
So that's what I'd like to leave people with. And just remember, passwords are the front door to your personal information. Change those passwords 3 times a year and make sure it's 16 characters or more. Wow,
that's awesome. Well, I think we all have stronger front doors because of listening to you today. So thank you. Thank you for the message. We appreciate it, Jim.
Thank you, Matt, for the opportunity to be with you.
You're so welcome. Thank you. And thank you for watching the Serving Senior podcast, where we highlight fantastic people like Jim that help seniors not just get by, not just survive, but thrive in retirement. Thanks again. Have a great one. We'll see you on the next episode. Hey, this is Matt Helton with OneTrust Home Loans, home of Retirement Mortgage Solutions. And we really do appreciate you checking out the Serving Seniors podcast today. Now, please go to the description down in the body of the podcast where you can subscribe to get future shows. Please click that notification button so you get notified when other shows drop. And also, if you can go to servingseniorspodcast.com, and we'd love to hear a comment about our show. We have a heart to serve seniors, and we have a heart to make sure seniors don't just survive retirement, don't just get by in retirement. We want to show seniors how to thrive in retirement. So if you know of anyone that's 55 and older that could use some extra cash flow, maybe the retirement's not going the way that they like, our retirement mortgage solutions are designed for folks, and depending on the state, they're either 55 or 62 and older, to make sure that they have that kind of retirement that they want. As long as they own a home and they're in a good equity position, there could be some solutions that they may not have thought about, or maybe they've thought of and they just didn't know how they work. That's what we do. So anyone in that age group that could use some mortgage advice, my team and I would love to be able to help them. Thanks again, and look forward to seeing you on the next show. Have a great day.